This is over, I mean, for over 100 years, this was kind of railroad rail and commerce. When the city had a chance to acquire this piece to be adjacent to our downtown, which is our major employment center, and the university, it was a no-brainer. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with Lodo in Denver, where the Rockies play, Pepsi Center is, Elitch Gardens. That's a project that my brother and I, as growing up in the late 80s, watched all kind of come together. So this is one where we saw the potential for some real synergies, and again, worth the headache of going through working with the Army Corps of Engineers on floodplain issues, working with the city, working with the railroad, working with the university. I should say, yeah, I mean, the collaboration effort, huge challenge, headache, but when you can put together multiple blocks and leverage off the existing strengths, it's, I think, a potential for a real win-win. So the specific project right now, we have this piece going, which is about 60 million underway. This is the 200 residential. It's going to be 200 beds, about 72 units. First floor, we have Hero coming in, so I'll finally get some good sushi. We also have Melon Mushroom. I'm not sure if you've heard of Melon Mushroom. They're out of Atlanta, but it's kind of a brick oven pizza. It should be cool. Jimmy John's is going in just because it's kind of nice to have a simple, convenient sandwich type place. In the rail yard, this is where we're focusing on trying to bring a lot more of a kind of an entrepreneurial concepts to fruition, some of which we're involved with, and we have some real dynamic folks and entrepreneurs from the community involved in it as well. So this should be a really neat element. The goal with this plaza, in the winter we'll have an ice skating area out here, and in the summer the cube, which is going to be a giant TV basically. It's more of an art piece. The Sheldon will help curate it. I'm gonna reel back and maybe just kind of drop right down into the actual project. The steel is up here and here, so we'd be basically kind of on the top of Laszlo's right now, looking at the project. This will be open in August. This will be open in September, and the hotel piece is going to be open by probably spring of 14. I'm gonna kind of show you the yard, some of the cool stuff. Sorry, this is Brett put this one together, so I'm not sure what's all on it. The canopy, this is kind of a neat element of the project as well. And canopy is it's the old canopy from the railroad. It's 1,200 feet long, goes all the way from the Harris Overpass or O Street all the way up to the arena. So it creates a real pedestrian-friendly walkway that helps avoid any kind of a vehicular pedestrian conflict. So we're playing off this. We want a real convenient and duly loaded retail concept to attract people to come down and stay down here. So it's not, hey, I got to go grab a prescription at Walgreens. I got to go get my prescription, and then we're going to go have lunch, and then we're going to shop for a while, and then we're going to go to a show. That's kind of the goal with this project. We want to create a neighborhood, a destination, and a district. The yard is sitting off to your right, so we're looking north. We have the potential, the other thing that we lobbied for in the legislature recently was an entertainment district. So we can actually shut down the road here and not have, I don't know if anybody's been to what is it, Rib Fest, where they put up the ugly orange fence and kind of herd all of us in like cattle. Here, it will be a much different feel, much different environment, conducive to a gathering place that is comfortable and can accommodate a lot of different size types of events. Sorry.
Oops.
The yard, I'm trying to find a picture of the actual yard space. So this canopy, they took it down, they sandblasted it, they're cleaning it up, and they're going to put it all back up here relatively soon. And then you kind of look through the canopy to the yard space. The yard, or the rail yard, we patterned it off of Power and Light District, if anybody's been down to Power and Light. We did not do four sides because we felt like this canopy was a neat element and kind of framed it on the west end. And also we have the ability to expand and walk the party or the event right out into the street. we have some better pictures of the yard. But some of the public-private elements, we've got a piece in the yard called the Cube. And it is this giant LED that's over 36 feet long, like 15 or 16 feet high, where we'll do commissions for artwork. We'll do, hopefully, ESPN Game Day, ball drop over New Year's, fireworks on the 4th of July, snowflakes falling when people are out ice skating, movie night for families to watch cartoons on, lay on blankets in the yard. And so I'm still looking for that. So this is in the yard.
I know he had it because he showed it to him.
Dang it, I know, no, it's maybe on the other one.
That might be. There.
This shows it a little bit. Okay, does it have another view? Jeez, I think Brett sabotaged it.
There it is. There it
This
is.
gives you a little better idea. So this will be sitting up in kind of the housing that we planned for upper level college students and young urbanites. Looking down onto Canopy Street here, this is the actual canopy, and here is the yard piece. So restaurants, bars, trying to get live music venues in this, and then this cube piece has a stage below it, so we can do concerts where, like if the arena has Toby Keith, we could bring in some other country western, before the concert and after the concert to play, and we can comfortably stand probably a good 800 to 1,000 people in there. So all of a sudden, we just kind of create a multi-dimensional option. So if there's a big arena event, we have the ability to play off that arena event before, after, during. If you can imagine tailgating, football Saturdays, to have ESPN Game Day down here, I think it'll be off the hook. It should be a blast. The walk from here to the stadium is probably 7 minutes. The walk to the arena is probably 20 seconds. The walk to the baseball stadium is probably about maybe 8 to 10 minutes. So one of the other great things about Lincoln is all of our major sporting venues and kind of cultural elements are all in the downtown. So that's another real attraction. Living down here, you can walk to a coffee shop, you can walk to a cultural event, sporting event. Just need a grocery store.
Yep.
So here's a view actually kind of walking out of the arena looking into the yard. And it's kind of cool if you can visualize this and walk down and see the steel that's going up right now. It's really transitioning. This really kind of looks into this is the yard. It's real traditional looking, so it doesn't negatively impact the current Haymarket itself. And it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde, so it's real traditional, boring kind of industrial look on this side, and then it has a much brighter, exciting look on the other side. There's another shot. So this is actually looking from the arena out. We couldn't build this building any higher because they wanted to be able to see the top of the state capitol. So that's being a capital city, they like sight lines, and so it's really important to have these cool corridor views of our capital. So that gives another view of the yard. There's a kind of a neat foyer opportunity when there are events here, railings and seating along the perimeters. We're doing a rooftop deck as well that can, I'm thinking it's a good probably 5,000 or 6,000 feet. It'll be something that we really don't have now. Barry's just did something similar, but I think this will be even a step up from that piece. So that actually shows some snow, some green trees. So from the entrepreneurial end and from the real estate end, I'd always liked real estate, and right out of college there weren't a lot of job opportunities, so I had kind of 3 directions to go. I took the LSAT thinking about law school, continuing school, and I had there was an opening that I was excited about at the Principal Financial Group, which is a mutual life company, has a big real estate department, and then the Fed on the banking side. I was an okay student. I had a double major, finance and econ, but I'm tenacious, and I seem to. Somebody pushes on me, that's more of a motivator for me to be successful. I've always had an itch to kind of work on something that has a community benefit and obviously a capital kind of a capitalist benefit. And I think that from the development side, it intrigued me that we could create a little bit of a different mousetrap. Most developers have a real negative stereotype, kind of known as rape and pillagers, or kind of strip and flip, come in, blow up a city, eat up farm ground, and off they go to the next project. We have a little bit of a different model where we want to be thoughtful capitalists and really invest and improve in the community that we live. And so that was one of the reasons that ultimately brought me back to Lincoln, because I thought community of this size, we had a huge opportunity to add a lot of value and help take Lincoln kind of to the next level. Anyway, kind of the three directions I had right out of college. I interviewed hard. The market was soft, and so at the Fed it was a management training position, and I had to compete against people with MBAs and their PhDs, and so I went down the path, but I didn't think my chances were very good. The job at Principal I really pushed hard on, and again I think it was my effort being out of state. I didn't think I had much of a shot, but I kept calling and I kept asking and I showed a lot of interest, and I ended up getting that position. I did take the LSAT for law school, and I remember it was in the big tall science building, which I think it's not Hamilton, but I remember taking that. It was a Nebraska football game, so I was more interested in listening to the football game than taking the LSAT. But when I got the job with Principal, my territory is Mid-Atlantic, so I was on the East Coast, and I got to work on huge projects, both financing and acquisition. And I'd get to work with developers that did mega shopping malls. Actually worked on Watergate, if you guys have all heard of Watergate. But big buildings, and I had to sit in a big boardroom and present in front of a whole bunch of actuaries, which definitely made me sweat a little bit. But when I go out to the market and I do the marketing and I meet with a lot of the owners and developers, I found that I wanted to be on that side of the table instead of the lending side of the table. And so in that, I started thinking about how I best could educate myself and put myself in a position to be doing that eventually, and with the littlest amount of risk. And in this game, there's a lot of capital involved, and the good part is you use a bank to leverage that capital, but ultimately you're signing your own neck on the line. And this project, we're used to doing kind of small commercial deals, maybe $2 to $5 million. All of a sudden we're jumping up into 50, 60, 70, 80, $100 million in projects. That is pulling up our big boy pants. And keeping our fingers crossed. A lot of developers in this recent downturn completely BK'd. I mean, lost everything, and a lot of it not so much fault of their own. It was just they had projects that were underway. They swam out and couldn't swim back. And so, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, you're going to take risks, and you want to try to mitigate that risk as much as possible. But there's still some of that's just up to Mother Nature. It's up to the economy. I mean, there's a lot of things. No matter how much you prepare, there is risk involved. And fortunately, the last downturn didn't bury us. And I would say one of the reasons that is because we're in Lincoln, Nebraska. I mean, this community is I think the second lowest unemployment right now in the country. If any of you have traveled anywhere else, you go to Arizona, you go to Denver, you go, St. Louis, Chicago. It's still really depressing. I mean, it's crazy. Here, kind of have this little corn bubble over us. The economy's good. People are busy, making money. Things are really starting to pick up. So I would say that over the next 5 years, where all these other communities are going to be kind of trying to crawl back out of the hole, Lincoln is kind of poised to be a rocket ship. And there's a lot of things that are just kind of bubbling right now that are going to be taken off soon. And hopefully providing a lot of opportunity for all of you to stay here if you want to. So I guess with that, I know I bounced around a lot, but any questions?
Any parking garages?